Hey, this is Phoenix doing another VOD review, this time for BumblingBum on Ana. They're a platform player, and on Reddit, I had asked them what they wanted to improve at, and they said cooldown usage, heals and damage target priority, positioning offensively, making active decisions to change where I'm standing between fights, recognizing situations in which I can make a play, not relevant to this replay, and I'll come back to this, how to play against divers when your team is also playing dive, and then a little thank you to me, which I don't need to actually say out loud. All right, so I realized that I should probably be actually doing my summary like at the beginning rather than at the end of these videos like I have been doing. So big apologies to everyone else that I've done before this, but I'm going to start doing it now going forward, just so everyone's like aware of what they should be looking out for. So I had a chance to go through your video, and these are some of my notes. First, this is something I always just tell people in general. I highly recommend going through your replays and examining your own ability use. Always ask yourself these questions. What was I trying to accomplish there? Was it worth putting it on a cooldown there? This way, right, we can be a little bit more thoughtful about how we're using our abilities, and especially on Ana, since they're such a long cooldown. You know, you want to make sure you're getting as much value out of them. That being said, like, don't hesitate to use them either. I've seen people with that are just a little too like scared to use them. You know, they like hold their sleep dart for like, you know, half a round. And it's like they haven't used it at all. It's like, well, then that's just like a waste. You know, you're just never using it. So, excuse me, and I apologize because I have been in the process of losing my voice doing all these VOD reviews. Got a lot more attention than I thought it would. But going forward, continue to polish up on your mechanics. I highly recommend aim trainers and free-for-all games. There are also a couple other custom games that I'll link in the description as well as in the Reddit posts and DMs. I'll send it to you as well. You missed some shots, you know, here and there that could have saved your teammates, and probably like you could have secured some kills as well. And then with sleep darts, I think you've missed a couple times. I think that were, you know, a little bit easier to hit. And then this is a little bit less so, but you missed a couple with your anti. Take the time to like really line up the anti nades, especially if it's offensive. Make sure we're taking the time to line those up, right? And you asked a question about healing and damage priority. So first, striking a balance between healing and damage can be like kind of precarious, right? As Ana, you want to be pumping out as much damage that basically you think you can get away with, right? Don't let your teammates die just so you can like frag out, but also don't be so afraid that you're gonna let your teammates die, so like not throw out any damage out ever. So, and then in terms of priority, number one is confirming a kill. A low HP target should always be priority. 2, people with ults should, I think, be, personally, I think it's like a priority. So, for example, if you see a Pharah that's like flying up in the air and you know that she has her ult, you've been ult tracking, you know, pressure her out, right? That's a really big priority. Things like that. 3, supports. 4, DPS. Last, tanks. But this is a very basic outline, right? And this often varies from game to game, even fight to fight and comp to comp, right? Like, so for example, tanks is like quote unquote last on my list. Well, you know, let's say you anti a tank and then they're half HP. That tank has like instantly popped up to like top of the list, right? So it's little things like that. Be a little more dynamic about like, you know, this like these rules, this like list I just came up with. But in general, that's kind of like, you know, like be flexible on it, but know that that's kind of like just like a guideline, right? Don't like follow it to a T. Because it does vary from game to game, and even like I said, fight to fight even varies. So next on the list, let me make sure I got my notes here. So in terms of positioning, let's make sure that we're positioning ourselves where like realistically we can make plays with our nade offensively, but not too close that we're putting ourselves in danger. And this is often going to be like the high ground behind your team, and then make sure we're looking around and listening for our enemy making movements towards us, or if they're looking at us a little funny, make the active decision and choice to start repositioning as needed, whether that's closer to your co-support, like a different place entirely. And part of this is recognizing and feeling like the tempo of the game, really feeling like the ebb and flow of the fights, right? Overwatch is a really dynamic game, and so our mindset to positioning should be dynamic as well. Push forward with your team. If your team is dictating the tempo and we're playing really aggressively, and then watch the tempo, like really feel it. And then if it starts to shift towards the enemy team, let's say they get a pick on your tank, don't stick around, retreat, you know, reposition accordingly to that, right? another thing here. Always be looking for plays. So Ana has so much carry potential, like it's actually ridiculous. You should always be looking to make a play with your nade. You should always be looking for damage. So those are kind of like the things we look for with our plays, right? And then sleep dart as well, right? In my opinion, like throwing your nade out to confirm one kill, one pick is super worth it, right? Part of this is thinking ahead. Like for example, has Kirika used Suzu yet? No. Then listen for it. Call it out, and you know, if your teammates are in comms, ask for them to call it out, and that's when you should be throwing your nade. So it's like planning ahead, right? Another example is like, let's say they have an enemy Rhine, right? Is his shield been broken? No. Then let's look for opportunities, feel the tempo, see when he drops his shield to swing, or you know, if it breaks, then throw your nade. And this is part of it, I think, specifically in this game. I see you like throwing your nade, but Sigma usually just either shields it or eats it, right? And so you got to make sure those things are on cooldown before you throw it at him. Otherwise, you know, it's a waste of your cooldown, right? So that's something I want to be looking for. Obviously, these are just a couple of examples, but once you start thinking ahead, you make it so much easier on yourself to like look for plays like that. Continuing from the point above, I think you may be a little reticent on making plays right now, just because you're really hyper-focused on what's going on in the team fights, and then you're kind of getting a little bit of like tunnel vision, right? Force yourself to focus more on the bigger picture and the more macro gameplay going on around you as well, and then I think that will like make you kind of like, you know, less like focused, for example, like on healing someone who's super critical, right? Actually, not even. Sometimes I see you like healing someone that's not critical, and you miss out on like a really like potentially good like anti right there, things like that. Play closer to walls, use cover more. I see you walking out into the open a lot, so try to respect the enemy like LOS a little bit more. It's a little uncontrollable, but I'll point it out just because it does involve teammates. But we really should be calling out for like a reset, disengage, or whatever you need to. Just because I saw you guys staggering in for like a whole round basically. So I'll point that out just so we're not like staggering ourselves and we can regroup as like a full team again, right? That's really important. And finally, this sounds odd, but I find that this kind of starts differentiating from like plat to like diamond, right? Is start predicting your teammates' actions. For example, and I'll point it out, there's a team fight where you anti the enemy team, which is a good one. Your Orisa and Genji see that, and so they play really aggressively. And I kind of figured they would do that because, for one, they saw purple enemies, and so they're like, "Oh shit! Like we gotta go get them." And then two, I kind of in my head I was like, "Well, they have all their cooldowns up, like right." So Orisa has all her cooldowns. Genji has most of his. I believe so. I didn't actually check. So they'll probably be playing pretty aggressively here. And then I saw Orisa, and I was like, Orisa also has a role actually, so she'll definitely go for a play here, right? But it kind of caught you off guard. And so it's things like that. Like I think once you start really predicting, like tracking your not just the enemy's cooldowns, by the way, right? Because that is important, but start tracking your own teammates' cooldowns, you know, and ultimates as well, and just be like looking at that and going like, okay, well, this so and so has an ultimate here, right? And then so I think they might be playing a little bit more aggressively, so let me make sure I'm with them to enable that, right? It's things like that, and that'll also force you to start actively thinking about your own positioning as well, because you'll go, well, you know, for like in the previous example, well, Orisa is going to push up around this corner. Let me make sure that I'm in a good spot where I'm not in danger, but I can also like move quickly enough around this corner so I can get to her, you know, as quickly as possible if she needs me to heal her for like while she's making this kind of play. And then eventually I'll come back to the dive versus dive. That one I'll leave at the end, but we've been talking for like about 9 minutes now, so I really just want to kind of get into it. But so those are just kind of my notes, general notes that I had, and I'll point all those out to you as we're playing the game here.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Escort the payload.
Okay, this right here, it feels very out in the open. We technically don't know if they have a Widowmaker yet or not. We haven't like probably called it out, or you know, no one's called it out yet. This is kind of like just a scary moment. I just kind of noticed this when you were walking out. You don't have to walk out like first like this. Just chill a little bit. They're spamming this like really out right now. Just kind of feel it first. Like actually like check it out first before you walk out, just because I don't feel like you really did. It was really scary. So. Nice. I like the damage. Nice.
Stand up straight.
Good sleep. Good ante. Maybe a little overkill, but you know, I would have done the exact same thing, just to secure the kill. And that's kind of like where I say, like, I think your mechanics could use a little polishing up, right? Missing a couple shots, damaging right here, especially, that I feel like you can secure kills with pretty quickly. Push forward a little bit. Don't, like, this is like a nitpicky thing. Don't just stand on the payload doing nothing. This doesn't help anyone. You're contributing like 0 value to your team. Even if it's like walking out, like stay within the radius, right? Walking out and looking, you know, to see if there are flankers, to see if there's, you know, enemy, what's going on, where they're positioned. Like you're kind of doing yourself a disservice by just kind of sitting on the payload. So I just wanted to point that out. It is very nitpicky, by the way. So, you know, but that's what I'm here to be. Probably could have healed your Torb there. I don't know. That's a little rough. Whew, he just kind of got like blown up. It's a little rough. I'll give it to you just because Reaper's a little bit, you know, he like headshot him, so feels bad. But this is a little thing. I think you're scoped in a lot right now. Actually, that's what it is as well. I think you're scoped in quite a bit, so that's making you a little less aware about what's going on. And this is kind of what I was talking about, being really hyper-focused on what's going on in front of you, that you're not really paying attention to the macro, which in this case, like, it's just like, you know, the enemy team positioning and things like that. Like, Echo's playing so aggressively here. You, like, if you were paying attention a little bit more, I think, honestly, you probably could have killed that Echo between you and Widow. Feels bad. I'm glad that we're recognizing this fight is lost, right? So we're backing up. This is a really good example of you like feeling that tempo, right? Torb ulted, got like blown up, right? Echo plays really aggressively into your Widowmaker. Like seeing those things and feeling that and recognizing like, okay, now the tempo, like Reinhardt's kind of dictating that tempo, right? They have a lot of momentum, so we got to either back up, right? So, which we do. Do a really good job with that. You sleep the Rein just to make sure you get away, which is good. Keep your Mercy alive, which you do. Perfect. Which is good, so we don't stagger ourselves, right? So you guys did a really good job with that. I'm glad you hear him. Okay, so Widowmaker woke him. Got it. I was like, what woke him right there? So I understood. Yeah, you guys roll him though. Nice. Woo! Slick dodge.
That must sting.
Good ante, especially on that Echo. She's gonna die here, I think. Nice, good confirm. So they're down 2 now. Do you feel that? We're feeling like the tempo's more on our side now, right? Did you hear the Widowmaker get hurt? You must have. Or maybe they called it out. Or maybe they said, like, I'm critical, or whatever, like the voice line. Where it was. Good job keeping her up. This is nitpicky. I was just checking to see if you reloaded unnecessarily there. So I was just being, like, a little bit nitpicky again. But you did, so good job. You're playing like right here. I think I would prefer to be over here to give myself high ground first off, right? And then as well as like, you know, a little bit further away, away from the enemy team as well. Like, if, you know, quote unquote, if this is the front line, a little bit further away from it, I'd probably be playing like right here, break these pillars right here. And then technically I have this for cover as well. All I need to do if I need to like, you know, look away from them is also first do this either, or, you know, do this. Preferably, I would do this though, just as a heads up. We're really in there though. That's how it feels like to me. Nice. this before. Hold on, sorry. I get very distracted in these.
A sip for the coffee.
Poor Moira, man. Nitpicky. We're not really shooting anything right now. Full health targets, right? You could be just, you know, pressuring Reinhardt a little bit more. You know, doing something. Shooting out full health targets, though, like, kind of don't do anything for you. Teammates, I should say. There's another instance. You don't have to be on the payload here. You should be playing here where Widow is, like, basically like this. Looking at your team, slowly moving payload, yes, but also, like, helping your team out as much as possible. So I'm not saying you definitely couldn't have saved Mercy there. She kind of like did some shit here, right? He had shatter. This is too juicy of a shatter. I would have done it too if I was him.
Got you. You're powered up. Get in there.
That was, by the way, a really risky nano. I'm glad you like it worked out though. He tears through Reinhardt. He looks like he's about to ult. But anyways, honestly, that nano's pretty worth it. I would have done it too. I probably, yeah, I think it wins you guys like this team fight actually. So I would say it was fairly worth it. Except this guy, he looks like he's got to ult, but he
No wonder
doesn't.
I caught desire. Come to my position.
You don't have to be here. Right? Always trying to be looking to do something. Especially if you're gonna be the one on payload. Also, this is also kind of nitpicky too. You could have confirmed that Mercy could fly to you. You kind of didn't. I think she could, but like you could have like checked for her, right, and been like, oh yeah, here you go. You team player. If you had done that, I guarantee you that Mercy would have been like, hello, thank you. You know, I always do that. Then you get extra help from your co-support. See, this is genius. All right, this is when things like, I would say back up, start backing up here, right? Enemy team has regrouped. You know that. Your team is starting to get, like, they were here, right? And now they're getting pushed back. Feel that shift in how the momentum has changed, right? They're kind of carrying it right now. They're using cooldowns. That's why, right? So feel that. Move backwards. You don't need to be on the payload anymore, especially because you have other teammates. They'll push it for you, right? So start pulling back a little bit. I would probably like play more here. Like literally just not on the payload was ideal. Like I would be playing further back personally.
No recovering.
That was unfortunate. I think he goes through and ults. Ooh. And then we miss it, but that's kind of slick. Alright. Yep, we die. It happens. Lost team fight. They committed like a couple ults there.
I'm not finished.
Let's get the payload moving.
I have you. Keep fighting.
I guess part of that is makes me would that have been worth it? I guess so. I guess you guys could have like gotten the pick on it pretty quickly, but they do have a Kiriko with Suzu anyways, so it doesn't really matter. He probably would have been saved had you hit the sleep dart anyways, so that's like an instance where I'm like, I don't know if I would have done it there. I probably would have just been like, he's probably gonna get Suzu'd anyways or something. And I would have preferred to hold it for at this point like coalescence or something. That's probably what I would have rather held it for. So I would have been scared that she coalescence right there or something. There it is. Nice try on it. Nice anti. Nice try on the anti.
Keep them in.
I feel like I'd be shooting at the Kiriko more often. We're shooting at Sigma a lot. I saw this play, by the way. That was your Cassidy. You literally like saved that Cassidy to make that play. Oh my god. Wait, I just see this. Hold on. Did you see how everyone converged on this man? Hold on. Oh yeah, look at it. Everyone look at him. Echo, Reaper, Kiriko. That's DPS making space right there for you guys. My god, that's awesome. Alright. So they're down 3 players. You guys are unfortunately down both your DPS. A little tough situation, but you guys could, you know, oh, or actually you get a res on one. So this is a pretty good position for you guys. So that's the right one right there, right? He had his cooldown up. You know, if you really want to throw that your anti like right then and there, don't throw it directly at people. It splashes, right? So throw it at walls and things like that. That's particularly why whenever a Genji dives me, I don't throw my anti at him. If he's like right on top of me, he's deflecting, I'll just throw it at my feet, right? And that still does. There's no like damage like splash fall off or anything for the damage or like the anti or anything like that. That would be kind of cool actually if they added that. So that's just something to consider. Ooh, go for the sleep. Oh wait, you don't even have it. Did you use it? Stop Sigma. I was gonna say maybe if like your team was like better positioned to have killed him here, that would have been a better sleep start. But I mean, like, man, that's rough. You didn't have sleep for his ult there, so that really sucks. Honestly, saving the nano for Cassidy, like I probably would have done it myself. All right, just ooh, Jesus, what the hell just happened? All right, like this is a good situation. Like I'd be way over here. This feels so dangerous to me. Like just be further back. There's nothing wrong with that. As well as if you're right here or something, Mercy could fly to you, things like that. That's what I would be considering personally. You turned back though. I kind of wonder why you did. And then you get like blown up. Wait, no shot. Did the Cassidy kill you? Hold on. No, wait, that's so sad. Oh, okay, you're getting rocks thrown at you and shit. Like, I'd be scared. Back up, right? So, sorry, another thing to do that. I'm sorry. That sucks so bad. Alright, hold on. This feels like such a weird situation. You guys are like, I know, like, I watch this, so I know you guys start, like, just constantly, like, streaming in at this point. Ball dies. They have their whole team back up. Like, honestly, I would just call for a reset. It's just this ain't worth it. Ball's gonna come back quick, so this is alright. You guys, like, nice, good kill. Ball's gonna come back pretty quick, too, as well, so not too worried. Missed the ante, unfortunate. And he baited out that sleep dart, which sucks. And then as soon as he heard it, he used it. So it feels bad. Yeah, that just sucks. Your sleep dart got baited out. That really sucks. Yeah. Just be a little more aware, right? He's gonna teleport in. I would have held it maybe just like a second longer, just to be like, I know he has his like wraith. Is he gonna wraith to like bait out my sleep dart, or is he gonna wraith to get to a aggressive position to like ult or something like that? That's something I probably would be thinking in my mind if I saw that. As well as, like, you know, he hasn't ulted in a while, so he definitely had it. So that's part of just ult tracking, things like that. This is my intrusive thoughts, you know. But being with you covered in echo bubbles, I would go to Cassidy to kill him with it. That's my intrusive thoughts right there. Anyways, all right. So it was a hefty try. It was a really hefty try. I think you guys end up winning this match, which is pretty cool.
One. Attackers.
All right, where are we gonna be? I like where we are. I like the high ground. I really like this, actually. Nice. Good damage. Don't be so focused on the echo that we're going to walk out of cover like this, right? Be like, stay, like, don't hyper focus and let your good fundamentals deteriorate. Stay close to cover, right? We're just staying very scoped in right now, which scares me. So that's kind of like why on my notes you'll put like find I talked about like quick scoping a little bit, which I don't think I actually seen you do it at all game. 9-12. I've been doing this for almost every Ana VOD review, by the way. So we'll go through it just real quick. So I even have a routine now. I never had to do this to have a routine. All right. So unscoped, we have shooting with this. Hard. So cons, harder to hit. Right? Especially if they're longer distance away. It's a little bit harder to hit, right? Especially on moving targets. Pros, you don't get the same streak, like this yellow line you see. You don't get that same streak that the enemies can see, so you're a little bit more hidden. And then another pro is that you have a larger field of view, so you can see more. Like you're more aware of more shit, right? If you're hard scoped in, see, I have the edge of my screen on the door. I don't anymore, right? It's things like that. So, but then pro with hard scoping in, easier to hit shots. That's really about it. So that's why you combine the two into quick scoping, right? So you do something like this. So you shoot, look around, shoot, look around, try to be aware of things going around you, right? Only drawback, by the way, of this is so it actually has a lower rate of fire just because you're doing the animation and getting out of the hard scope. So you're doing just a little bit less like damage or healing if you're doing like just quick scoping, right? So that's why you kind of don't want to do it all the time, you know, but you want to weave it in a little bit more to your gameplay, especially like during like team fights and stuff where it's like you don't need to heal all your teammates, you know, and you want to be poking out the enemy, but like you also don't want to be like just so unaware of what's going on around you, just because if you are like scoped in like this, you can't really see shit what's going on around you. So it's something to consider and start weaving into your gameplay a little bit more. I think I don't think I saw you do it at all this game, so maybe you just weren't aware of it. If not, definitely take a look at it. I would highly recommend watching a video on it as well if you would like to. I'm not the super best at explaining quickscoping, so but it has its real benefits. So I would definitely heavily consider using it.
That feels much better.
Nice anti.
Stand up straight.
Maybe could have thrown it a little bit further just to see if you could hit more people with it. But it was a good one. And it confirms a kill. That makes it a good anti in my opinion. Oh, by the way, I was going to nitpick on you a little bit here. So we're doing this, doing great. And then we jump off for some reason. I don't know why. We could have stayed up here. This feels so nice. Look at all this great, like, actually, this would have given you an easier ante, actually. You wouldn't have to go up as high and then, like, misjudge, like, the distance. Like, if you were up here, you could, like, judge the distance a little bit easier, too. So, you know what? That's another reason why, right? Easier antes. We jump down, which makes me a little sad. We could be a little bit, you know, more just on the high ground. Whoa. Don't need to be this around the corner. That Genji overextended. You gotta, yeah. That was just like a thing where that Genji just overextended. There's nothing you could have done right there, in my like opinion. It was just, he just walked in and like, held. What the hell is that? What the fuck is going on right now? Alright.
I've got you.
What just happened? Okay, I think we might have been typing right there. If we're typing to be toxic, don't do that, okay? Or maybe you're checking something. Maybe you're checking your phone. Your Tinder date confirmed with you, and you got excited, so you had to check your phone. And you were like doing that. I like to believe in that. All right. Anyways, so going back into it. You guys managed to get yourself out of this like weird situation. I was really scared that the Sojourner would stagger herself, but you actually managed to keep her up, which is good. You're hitting the important shots. Awesome. Scary. Very scary. Should have held that sleep for the Bastion, or you know, hit him. So that's like another thing where the sleep darts. I feel like you're missing really crucial ones like that one right there. Had the Bastion been like just looking at you, I think he would have just like died, like blown up. But luckily he missed you. But we don't want to rely on that, right? So I would have heavily considered nanoing either Genji or Sojourn here. Probably the Sojourn, personally. Just because, okay, this would have been my course of action, right? I would have nanoed Sojourn because she ulted, and I kind of like to troll a little. And then, like, just so you know, Sojourn nanoed, her full charge, like 100%, railgun shot, can one-hit kill, I'm pretty sure. That's kind of like why I do it. So body shots, not just headshots, on 200 HP targets. So that makes her really dangerous. And two, I probably would have just thrown like an anti, like a nade, like right here in front of the payload to cover the Orisa and the fucking, what do you call it, Queen, as well as like hopefully the Genji as well, and save him, right?
You're powered up. Get in there.
Which we nano the Orisa, which isn't bad. That's not a bad choice. I'm not gonna say it isn't. I feel like we kind of did a little late though. My honest opinion. Nice. Feels bad. Kind of got distracted here. I'm trying to find out from what. You see that Moira's coalescing, like the coalescing? Using her ult this direction. You see the beam, right?
I'm here.
Then we
Keep
look
fighting.
backwards. I'm kind of trying to figure out why you did that. And then you end up letting Orisa die because of that. I think you should have kept her alive had you just kept, you know, shooting at her right there. I think. Feels bad. Did that hit anyone? Oh, it did hit the Mercy. She's fucked. Oh well, okay. So, it is what it is. Orisa gets back. Somehow, you guys fucking managed to hold this out? No, I'm curious as to what the hell just happened. Alright, cool. I want to watch this. Alright, so, we'll actually go a little further back. So, Orisa dies, which is really unfortunate, right? That should have been like, Orisa dying should have been like you and like Mercy's like Q to get the fuck out, but a little bit more. Genji ults. Gets a kill. Kills the Echo. Understood. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Okay. Blade actually just like turned that fight all around. Oh my god. This is insane. Really good anti. This is the part where I was talking about, like, I'm pretty sure, I was pretty sure Orisa was going to go in there and ult at this point. Like, especially more so because Kiriko's going to Suzu this, right? This is a Kiriko Suzu. You're going to get Suzu out. So that's why, by the way, that doesn't make this a bad anti, by the way, forcing Suzu out. If you force Suzu out, you leave room for your team to do other abilities and ults that, like, she would want to Suzu. For example, Orisa ult. That's a really big one that Kiriko's probably gonna hold her Suzu for, right? So you forcing her abilities out like that, it's not a bad thing. Like that's a really good anti right there. So for Orisa, that's like, oh, I get to use my ult now as well, right? That's like the button. See, she's gonna Suzu. So she probably sees that and goes, ooh, I can like use my ult now. And so, but us, we're kind of way back here because we're not expecting her to push up like this aggressively. Look at her, she's using all her cooldowns. And to me, like that, I thought that was like pretty clear, just because, like, you know, I knew she had all her abilities up. I knew that she has her ult up as well, right? And then, like, you know, Suzu goes away as well. So I figured that she would be doing this. This is just kind of part of like tracking your teammates' cooldowns and stuff like that. So let's just keep that in mind, right? And then as well, that makes predicting our teammates' actions a little bit easier, which in turn will dictate how we play, right? How our gameplay will go. And how to best support and enable our teammates. By the way, if you were gonna like play here in this area, I would much prefer you be behind this piece of cover. You're so close to it. You just need to go around it. Because right now, as is, you're just kind of out in the open. You could have just been like right here. This feels safer to me. This is pretty nitpicky, but I would be here instead if I had to. But anyways,
Sweet dreams.
I'm trying to think why you woke her up. I knew it was for the ante. Like, you probably just saw her slept, tank, and you were like, I can ante, right? That's just kind of like instant, like, on a brain. But sleeping her, I would have just taken that as an opportunity to walk away a bit further and reposition myself probably up here. You have about, like, 3.5 seconds, right? 3.5 seconds to go. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3.5, and then, like, she'd be up now, right? But, like, that's enough time for you to get into, like, a much better spot. As well as like get a little bit like more cover, you know. Just kind of wake her up though. Oh, and she didn't even look at you. She just like runs back to her team. Nice kill. Hold on, I want to watch that. That looks really clean. Yep, good shot. Mercy even complimented you in the game. She knows. This feels odd to me. You found like mini high ground. I think I'd be here. Not high ground, but cover. I like cover. And then as the fight goes further and further this way, you know, slowly transitioning to like this kind of movement, right? As the fight goes further back to that corner right there. I don't think you guys actually make it back to that corner, but that's like for future reference, you know. Transition from like spot to spot, right? With a purpose.
I won't let you fall.
All right, so your team wants to hold this corner, which is 100% fine. You know, it is what it is. You can't control them. I personally would probably prefer to hold a little bit more further up, but that's just me. Especially because I don't know, they don't really have like a Genji or anything that could go over. I guess they have Echo, but sorry, I saw something that bothered me. You're just kind of standing out in the open. Don't like that. I would personally play like up here. Yeah, this feels good to me. If we're gonna play this corner, I'm saying if we play this corner, I would be up here. This feels very nice to me, very safe. If you want to be like super ultra safe, right? Even we could be this is probably too defensive of an angle, by the way. But this is a spot. But this is like really defensive. I would be playing this probably if like the enemy team was being really divey and really like going after me. Or like right here. This is also a decent spot. But I probably prefer the high ground anyway, so this is probably where I'd be. As well as like you have a way down here, and you can get a health pack right here if you need it. So decent spot. You do kind of get trapped here though in this like corner right here if they push up and force your team like away from you. So you do have to just be really careful about this one spot and note if the front line is moving more and more this way, the fight, you have to like learn to back off and like move up here, right? So that's just something to keep in mind. Personally, I think you're playing a little close. Oh hell yeah. Oh whoa, keep that Mercy up. You shot at Orisa. You didn't need to worry about the Orisa. Orisa has her Fortify up, and she has armor right now. There's no reason for you to shoot at her instead of your Mercy. Oh, Mercy.
It's go time. You're powered up. Get in there. I'm unstoppable.
Ooh, this is part of quickscoping. You're not aware of that echo going after you right there. I think luckily for you guys, the Sojourn ends up like, yeah, she gets, this is like peak Sojourn gameplay right here. Oh yeah. You end up dying, but luckily your team manages to pull it through. So good on them.
Time for the reckoning.
Yep. I won't be doing my summary of everything that we talked about because I already did that in the beginning. What I did want to quickly talk about is the dive versus dive comp, and you were asking like how I should be playing Ana in that, right? This is probably going to be my best take on it, right? Personally, I don't force Ana into a divey dive like that if it's like a bad map for her. Like Ilios Ruins is like notoriously bad for her, right? Basically maps that don't have good cover and high ground for like an Ana, I just don't force it. It doesn't feel good to me. On decent maps though, just look to really position yourself well. Positioning yourself in good places like high ground will mean that the enemy will have to expend resources just to get to you, right? So don't let yourself be known. And if you see someone on the enemy team look at you, they're like, just assume that they're gonna dive you and be proactive, like plan accordingly with that note, like knowing that. And then save your sleep dart just kind of for yourself. There are always exceptions to this, right? So using it on an ult or something like that. But you know, I would probably like play a little bit more cautiously with my sleep dart if you know, we're playing like dive, just because then it's like I like, this is, by the way, just good Ana like tip for anyone who wants to climb ranked solo queue, right? Just never assume someone's going to peel for you. Always assume that if someone dives you, you're going to have to like take care of it yourself. Once you start doing that and you like start forcing duels and stuff like that and taking them and start winning them, that I think like that's kind of like when you start like climbing pretty rapidly, just because like, you know, that's like Ana's biggest weakness, I think, especially in low rank, is they don't know how to play against like dive. It's just like, you know, just position yourself really well. If they do dive you, you know, hold your sleep dart for it. And if they like a Genji dives you or something, just fight the duel and take it, you know. Because especially if no one's going to come and help you, you might as well just try to duel it out. But it is what it is. So if you have any questions, just let me know. This was a lot of fun. Thank you for letting me take a look at this. Like I said, I am so sorry it took a little bit of time. I didn't expect so many people to respond. But this was a lot of fun. And thank you very much and have a good day.